Hey, I'm Craig Given, and these are my Arc Nova standees for the each time reminders. So each time a reptile is played, some benefit is gained by the person who owns this card and has played this card. And this serves as a reminder for the rest of the table to let them know that they're playing a card with a reptile so the other player can gain a benefit. These have already been cut, but basically you'll be starting with a single sheet that's been printed out on cardstock. I'm using 110 pound weight paper through a color laserjet printer. I use manual feed because it's heavy paper and sometimes I need to give it a little help on the tug out of the machine. And when you cut these are standard American poker size cards, so they're 2.5 inches wide and 3.5 inches tall. And that way I can use just standard sleeves like Dragon Shield in this case to help them stay together. So the first version I'm going to show you doesn't use Standees, it just uses the card sleeve. So you'll measure from the left edge 2.5 inches and basically cut it off, slice it off. Do the same thing for the second card, 2.5 inches, slice, 2.5 inches, and slice. So you'll be lining it up. Let's say it's like this before the cut. Line up your ruler, take your cutter straight down, and you're going to end up with this little piece right here. These are just little fold marks to show you where to fold. If you're doing the self-standing version. So basically come down, measure from the top, 3.5 inches. 1, 2, 3.5 inches. And what I do is I use a scoring knife. So you can score at the mark. Usually you want to score on the opposite side from the printing. Just take your ruler, your folding bone, running across there, or you can use the back of a butter knife. Don't use too much pressure. As you can see, this is the way the folds are going to go. So you tend to score on the side that's going to be the inside of the fold. It's not super critical that you do that. You can score all on one side if it's easier. I also like to use a corner cutter. So for the top edge, I folded first and did a small corner here. And on a tuck, the part that's going to tuck, to make it easier to tuck, I did a large cut of that corner. You're going to take this and fold it. And then fold it that way, then fold this way, and then lastly fold that way. Take a sleeve. I like to have the non-glossy side showing to cut down on the glare. Basically just have the first fold, it goes in the sleeve. I fold it up, the second fold here, so that I can snug it up in there. And then you just form a triangular base by tucking the flap into the sleeve. Like that. And there it's standing. Of course, from the person on the other end of the table, they're going to see it like this. But it stands pretty good by itself. When you're done with it, put it back in the box. Just scooch it out just a tad, fold it up. Folds flat, goes in the box. Have a whole stack of them here. So this one for each type of card that has the every time, or each time something happens. All right, so there's a fancier version of this. Basically, just cut the card off right here. Get rid of this bottom flap. You'll just have this piece. You could sleeve or not sleeve it. Round the corners again. You can round or not round. I like the rounding. This looks nicer. In this case, well, I'm not going to bother that one. Let's just take one that's already folded so we save time. Just use these acrylic standees. I get them off Amazon. Use colors or get the clear. I like the clear in case there's something at the bottom of the card. And you just slide it on. Depending on how tight your Arc Nova box is, you can maybe leave the stands on. I just usually pop them off and back on again. And this sleeve helps protect the wear on it. Stands up, gives it some more stability. You don't need to use two of these. You could just get by with one easily enough. They're very sturdy. That way if there's a wind or something like a ceiling fan, you don't have a problem with them falling over. The designs for this are on my website at www.craiggiven.com, and that's C-R-A-I-G, and it's like my given name is Craig, so CRAIGGIVEN.com. And under the board gaming section, you'll see quick reference guides under the board gaming section, and it's sorted alphabetically, and you should find a link there to this file.